you don't need a human to do most things. We're in 2025. 6 months from now, it'll be incredibly difficult to know what's real and what's not.
How did you get to exiting companies over $1 billion?
I had, I think, honestly, too much money because I was held at gunpoint a couple times. If you look your boss straight in the face and say, if there's any hesitation, quit.
What's the biggest check you ever wrote?
I think $32 million.
Is AI mandated to identify themselves as AI?
You know, I think that's an interesting question.
Can you teach them to lie? You could be the next Elon motherfucking Musk. What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real bona fide treat. Carl Case in the house.
Pleasure to be here.
If you guys don't know who this guy is, it's probably because he's always behind the scenes and he's already racked up a couple of exits before you were 31 years old, totaling over $1 billion. That's crazy talk, brother. That's crazy talk. So how old are you now?
32.
So you've only had it for a year or two. But I mean, like, dude, what impresses me about you is you're cool. You know, you're not snooty, but that's beside the point. I want the listeners to like get ready to dive into some storytelling, number one. Number two, I got some questions for you. So folks, Carl Case, normally I'd say follow him. Did you make an Instagram finally or something?
Facebook, LinkedIn.
Facebook and LinkedIn. Dude, Carl Case, just like it sounds. You also could look up his latest company, founder and CEO of RapidTalk.ai, which I'll be deploying within my organizations. Man, but you got a whole history. So let's go back, let's go back to 16. Where were you at 16 years old?
Boca Raton, Florida, working at a orange leaf frozen yogurt shop on Atlantic Avenue because I was addicted to the yogurt. And I was like, yeah, I might as well work here, get a job outside of my family and serve some yogurt.
Now, when you said outside of my family, that leads me to believe your family had businesses.
Yeah, my dad was a caterer, has married over 3,500 bridezillas in his life. And my mother was a school teacher. So it definitely didn't come from abundance, but was surrounded around it.
Okay, so you're working at a yogurt shop, 16 years old. I mean, that was only like 10, 15 years ago, right? How did you get to exiting companies over $1 billion?
Yeah, I think starting off at the yogurt shop was a great example of how I wanted to do more. Within 2 weeks of working there, my boss had fired over 14 people. It was the first 2 weeks it was open. And I would just go out and offer people samples, ask how their yogurt was, if I could get them some water or anything. And we started getting a lot of Google reviews. And we were the #1 yogurt shop in Delray Beach, Florida, when there was probably 80 of them within 5 miles. And Orange Leaf Corporate offered me an opportunity to go over to corporate and be a trainer at 16 years old. I think that opportunities are what you make of them. So just taking those chances and doing more instead of just doing the status quo.
Yeah, doing more than you're paid for.
Yeah.
People ask me that, and I know it's cliche, and I've heard it from someone. I didn't make it up, but it's like if you do more than you're paid to do, you'll get paid more.
Every time.
But most people wait till they get paid more to do more. Like, hey, I'll do more, but pay me. That's not how you do it. You just start doing more, and then coincidentally enough, people start paying you more.
Yeah, I think in a testament to that, at my last organization, Referizer, our average employee on 96 people on my team stayed for 3.5 years. And to keep a virtual tech company alive with employees that aren't dropping off every couple of months isn't a testament to creating an environment where people don't feel like they have a ceiling, but a ladder that they can climb.
Because we have a pretty low turnover here. I have the same people, main people, for 20 some years.
What's the trick?
Don't fire them. Make sure their paychecks don't bounce. I would say, it's the culture, man, but it's not necessarily culture because some people come and go and have come and gone, and they just weren't a fit. So Again, you go on my Glassdoor or whatever it's called, I answer every single one of them, by the way. I always tell people, if you want to laugh, like go to Glassdoor and read some of our reviews. Because, dude, it doesn't make sense, Glassdoor. And by the way, like, see, I want to start like running ideas by you, because not only can you fund them if you wanted to, and I could help, I could do that, but you can build them. Yeah. So it's like, you're not just the dude that can fund them now, you can build them too.
So we're making the first employee app where we can rate the employees so that they don't bounce from one opportunity screwing the next person. I have to tell you a story on that.
Well, I own nightmareemployees.com, and I told somebody one day I'm going to build a Glassdoor for business owners.
Yeah.
Because these people come in here, they get a job, and then they freaking whack you, and you have no idea they whacked the last 5 places they worked too. If I could just run an employee through a database that tells me if they've got lawsuits, if they've jacked their customer base, their previous employers, if a girl comes to work here and she's got 9 sexual harassment lawsuits, I'd kind of like to know that. And by the way, it's also public information. So it's not like, someone has to, rat on somebody. It's just database stuff. But nightmareemployees.com could be the Glassdoor for business owners. And I would pay, as a business owner, a subscription to belong to that.
I got a better one for you.
Okay.
Imagine you're a Burger King franchisee in Miami, which I've been hands-on with for too long. And you have Carla come in, you hire her, and she robs you within the first 2 days. You fire her. She's going to now go to the next store, and you own it. And she gets hired at the next location that you own, robs you 2 days later, gets fired, does it 10 more times at all the locations that you have. And your own internal system doesn't have any clue that you've hired and fired Carla 10 times.
How?
Because they ain't talking to each other.
Well, that's just foolishness.
Yeah. Happens every day.
Well, I like that idea, but that's not as big as the main one.
Sure.
Because the main one is like everyone's systems. But you would think Burger King or a franchise, they'd all use the same HR tool or something. So when I put Carla in on the second one, it would go terminated 1113.
Carla's smart. She changed her name a couple times. Said that she's. So the reason he uses Burger King, folks, is because if you go into a Burger King and you order on the little kiosk, that's your thing. It was 2016.
And now it's all over in all kinds of restaurants. And I've used them. So if I walk up to a Chick-fil-A I don't know if it was Chick-fil-A, but some restaurant and you order yourself, that's your deal?
Yeah, we supported Panda Express, Subway, Dunkin' Donuts, Burger King, lots of brands.
Panda Express, my friend, well, I wouldn't call him a friend. Someone that I know is the founder and CEO of that.
Most respected restaurant brand ever.
Is it?
Yeah, they have 2,600 corporate-owned units.
Corporate.
Largest consumer of broccoli in the globe.
They sell more chicken than anybody.
Could be.
That's what he told me. Andrew Churn owns it. He likes to walk. He's like, you want to go for a walk? I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Let's go for a walk. He just likes to walk. He's a good dude. Super wealthy, obviously. And he said, we sell more chicken than anybody.
Super high employee retention too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You know why though?
I have my assumptions.
What are they?
That they show people that they can climb a ladder and they pay them well.
Yeah. They have a good, program, and he bases it off. You ever heard of Landmark?
Yeah.
He was a big
Landmark kid.
He was a big Landmark fan. You too?
Yeah.
Well, shit, dude. Maybe I need to go to Landmark.
More of a Tony Robbins guy, but Landmark was great as a kid.
Tony Robbins is a client, and I wouldn't say friend, but when I text him, he will text back. If I had you in here, I'd be a billionaire too.
Anything's possible.
Well, again, that's the past. Can't change that, can you?
You can just work to the future.
Yeah, but if you can change the past, dude, you're a trillionaire. The world's first. Is there a trillionaire? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You know what I believe? I also don't believe that like the richest men in the world list is true. I think the richest in the world, they're not on a list.
I think I'm one of the richest men in the world because I got friends that love and care about me and make decisions around, how we would both survive.
That's true wealth. But
yeah.
I was talking financial.
Oh yeah, too many ghosts out there. Smart people.
They're not on any list. You say Elon Musk, richest man in the world. I'll bet you he's not. But, very wealthy, but bet you he's not the richest. The richest you'll never hear about. Anyway, so Carl, you're working at a yogurt shop. You're still not, are you a programmer at the time? Are you starting to tinker with computers?
I'm slanging tickets on the side to underage concerts, 18 and under events at Cinema in Pompano Beach for any of the local Floridians that would go get underage drunk at 17, 18 years old. And yeah, I was selling tickets, and unlike the other promoters that were just trying to sell one-off tickets, I would find the cult leader of a friend group and tell him, yeah, you can go for free VIP, get 10 of your friends to buy these $20 tickets. I'll get you in backstage, and selling 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 tickets to an event. And it was an interesting space to be slanging yogurt and underage concert tickets.
So you were a little bit of a hustler. And quite frankly, that's kind of marketing minds right there. That's a mind for marketing, I would say.
Honestly, at the time, I wasn't that smart to think that way. I just wanted a really nice car, and I knew that the only way I could get it was by hustling.
Yeah, but the marketing part, like where you're like, hey, let me go to the leader and let them sell everybody.
Yeah, I think I was just good with numbers, and I
then
did the math.
You did something like that at college parties when you finally went to the old University of Alabama.
Roll Tide, baby. Yeah, this is a good story. I wanted to join a fraternity because my dad said that's the way to go. I knew 3 people in college that were from high school that were there, and so I started pledging fraternities and had no idea that I accepted the Jewish fraternity, ZBT. So on the second day of pledgeship, everybody's in the line talking about their names, where they're from, Goldberg, Goldsmith, Goldstein, Silverstein. It comes to me and I'm like, yeah, Carl Case. Everyone looks at me like there's a ghost in the room. And everyone stops. Are you Jewish? I said, yeah. Are you guys? They're looking at me like, obviously. And so 6 months went by. Pledgeship was the best time I never ever want to have again. We got arrested twice, and it was an experience. But I wanted to be in the fraternity that was a cool fraternity, and we had the opportunity to run for social chair. So I showed a video of the parties that I promoted in high school, and I immediately won. And they handed me the guy that I preceded handed me a phone number to this guy, Mike, said, call him. He's downtown, meet him, get with the treasurer, find out your budget. I went to this guy. He said, how much money you have, what events you want to have. And I said, I want to throw 11 events. These are the dates. These are the type of the artists that I want. And we had $120,000. And he looked at me like I was nuts, like I was Medusa. He said, you can't have Afro Man for under $40,000 at your fraternity house. And I looked at him and I go, what? Afro Man costs $2,000 and he comes in a bus. If that man ain't getting on a plane, $40,000, you're tripping. He said, well, that's the price. I do this for everybody around here and you can't not use me. That day I went across the streets of the courthouse, incorporated my first business, Solidified Sounds Entertainment, begged my fraternity. I said, I'm going to throw Afro Man. If he comes, you can pay me. And if not, I won't be social chair anymore. That year we had Afro Man, Wiz Khalifa, YG, Chance the Rapper, Wale, and the Jews were the coolest dudes on campus. And I had found that text message marketing was the move in 2011. And I spent $10,000 on a short code number on Twilio, 63975. And I convinced every fraternity on campus and at Ole Miss and Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and all around to let me host their events at 40% cheaper than they were getting it before, in exchange for me collecting the name, phone number, and email address of every person that was going to these events. So I had a database after 4.5 years of college of 600,000 college students' phone numbers that my deliverability was 100%. My open rate was 97% in 3 minutes. And my response rate was a little less. It was like 60% in 4 minutes if we wanted them to respond to something. And my buddies and I would go across the streets from the bar. We'd send out a text of the people that we knew. There was at least 100 or so at that bar, make a deal with the bar next door and say, hey, if I move all these people over, you're going to split the cover with me. And we'd send a text and just watch people flock from one place to another because they got cheaper drinks, they got free drinks, whatever it may be. And that's what got me started in the mass communication space.
So again, how'd you think of this?
I think I just get these downloads of trying something and being okay to totally flop on my face and not knowing what is the future. Like, okay, I understood that data could be monetized, but I didn't really know how. And just trying it because.
Yeah, but you had the mind to say, hey, I need to collect these numbers. And didn't you do it through having them text the code? Because if I text that code, you got my information.
For sure.
So all I'd have to do is text the code.
And then we asked for your name and your email address.
So was it like, you want to go to this party? Text 63795.
Yeah.
And the only way to get into the party was text 63795 for your badge. Would you give them like a thing?
No, they just would get in the door immediately.
How'd you know they did it?
Because they showed that it's responded back.
Oh, gotcha. So the bouncers were told, don't let anyone in without this.
Well, they worked for me.
And you were just ching, 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 collecting data.
Yeah.
No monetization. Did they ever pay to get in these parties as well?
No.
You left money on the table.
Well, I sold the database 5 years later. And every time that I would use the activation of migrating people from one place to the next, I'd make pretty decent money for a college kid. Honestly, too much money because I was held at gunpoint a couple times in college.
How much were you making?
At one point I had, I think about $600,000 in my bank account. And I thought I was the richest man in the world. And then I call it a mistake, probably not the best word for it, but I paid an idiot tax. In 2014, I raised $1.2 million from my roommate's dad and but my father's friends and everybody that I knew that believed in me. And I went to Florida State University, paid for to rent out their college stadium, paid for the police, spent all the money on artists, and we were having 2 Chainz headline with Bankroll Fresh, Cap One, Schoolie, like his whole rap group. And we sold out the concert in 2 days. I was going to make $13 million. My investors were going to make a ton of money. And I was like, this is why I'm doing this. Well, rest in power, Bankroll Fresh. He was shot and killed the day before my event in their studio in Atlanta. And I got a call from the manager saying, concert's off. I said, what do you mean the concert's off? Called the venue, called the police, called everybody that was contracted. And they said, yeah, no refunds, nothing you can do.
Why not just get a new rapper?
Couldn't. I tried. I pulled everything out of my hat and I couldn't get somebody to go that next day.
Damn.
But I did the right thing. I refunded everybody. I made a payment plan. I sold my Audi. I drove a $300 Volvo for a couple years.
So it broke you.
Entirely. And it taught me what integrity was.
Well, how did it teach you that? You already had it.
I had a choice.
Yeah, but you had
It
integrity.
instilled it.
Yeah.
Deeper into my roots.
Yeah. Because, dude, that's the bottom line. Like I told you, I don't know if I told you, but I just shut down something that was making me $1 million a month. And then everyone's like, are you nuts? I'm like, bro, I'd rather not make that money than continue this fiasco.
Yeah.
Well, but again, that is integrity. A lot of people wouldn't do that. What made you do it? Was it your parents that instilled that, or are you just a good dude?
Dad, I'm sure you're going to see this, and it's about time you hear this. My father really instilled integrity in my head and had none. So watching him, I think learning about integrity from somebody that wanted me to learn it, and he was projecting the fact that he didn't have any, was easy for me to learn what it was. And I just really used that as a catapult to be myself.
Okay, so you threw a bunk party, not any fault of your own, but technically you took the responsibility and now you're broke.
Broken and in debt, like lots of debt.
And again, this wasn't that long ago. Like when I tell stories about shit this time is like, 30 years ago. You're like, that's 8 years ago.
Yeah.
9 years ago. So what, and now
10.
what happened? So then what?
Yeah. Once again, my father went to a networking event in Florida and I was living in Alabama. I met this man, Sijovic, and he owned a company called Referizer, and got up in the meeting, said, I have the greatest marketing tool ever. It's called email automation. And we can send 1,000 emails a day and get a 10 to 15% open rate. And 1 to 3% of the people actually click on it. Is that not amazing? My father stood up in the middle of the event and said, you're nuts. My kid can reach 1,000 people in 3 minutes. 97% of them will read the message, and I can prove it to you. Obviously they talked after, and he's like, why'd you bash me? And he said, you just got to meet my kid. Flew down to Florida and started selling Referizer pretty quickly after college to make some money.
No. What was Referizer?
Prior was an email automation tool, then became a text message automation tool. So we integrated to Twilio, created a front-facing app. And if you're a business and you used it, like Orange Theory Fitness, you would go fill out an ad online. We'd text you, ask about your experience after, stop bad reviews from going to Google by sending them directly to us. And you had a great experience, copy and paste it on your Google My Business profile. And I started making money again, which felt really good. I was on the payment plans that I needed to be. And something that you and I both know is I started getting questions about credit card processing from my biggest customers. Naturally, as a glorified sales guy, when you start getting questions from, the Orange Theories of the world that have 2,000 units at the time or 1,600 units, you got to find out the answer because you're definitely leaving money on the table. So I called my buddy in college who his dad drove really nice cars and helped me out with in-state tuition and was just an overall great man.
Mensch.
At the time. And we'll get there. And I flew out to Austin, Texas, asked him to teach me the credit card processing ways. I went out. He told me, you just go in, ask somebody for their statement, tell them you'll save them money and come back and give them a pitch. Well, I got my door slammed on my face 10 times that day. And I thought, okay, I'm never selling credit card processing. Went back the next day, pep talked myself in the mirror, and I brought integrity into the situation. I knocked on Tiffany and Chris Weeks from Cedar Park Gunworks. Yes, I still talk about you guys. My first business I ever sold processing to, I walked in and I said, hey guys, I'm here and you don't want me to be here because I'm selling credit card processing. But before you kick me out the door, I just want to ask for a favor. I work right over there. They're the third largest processor in the country. I'm being studied by the president and I got his eye and ear, and all I need to do is get one of your statements if you're willing to show me, and I'll come back tomorrow. And if you want to buy from me, great. But Lord, please just give me this statement so I can learn from you. And they gave it to me. Did the same thing 12 times that day. I got 11 statements, closed 10 of those 11, and just started doing that left and right every day, just being as honest as I could. And I became director of sales of MLS Direct Network. We started integrating other things other than credit card terminals, like point of sale systems, e-commerce websites, gateways. And I convinced Office Depot, who had just made an acquisition of Office Max at the time, to resell my payment processing. And through that, we got 300 applications in the first day and 12 test stores where you would just go to Office Depot, check out, cashier would tell you, hey, if you want us to audit your payments, email a statement to payments@Office Depot. And boss took me and the whole office out to celebrate me becoming a millionaire. And the next day, I was always first one in and first one out, or last one out of the office. Most of the time, last one out. And he called me at 6:30 in the morning, said, Carl, come into my office. I said, okay, what are you doing here? He said, just come on in. Started off the conversation. How's it feel? And I said, feels great, but not this conversation. Something's off. What's going on? He said, well, I talked to the board last night and I immediately said, you're full of it. You didn't talk to nobody. I was with you till 11:30 and your board's 85 years old. They were sleeping before we ever went to dinner. And he looks at me and you could tell, like, he's like, all right, I'm caught. And I said, Andy, what's going on? And then, for those of you that know about credit card processing, when you have a decent amount of volume, you can make 80% of the residuals of the business you generate. He said, well, it's simple. We got to build out the office, hire more people, scale this thing because of your sales. And I said, lucky you, the richest guy I know, that you get these problems. And Andy handed me an agreement to go from making 80% to 20%. And I looked at him and I said, this is your last chance to keep me or not. I'm not going to sign that. And he goes, well, then you don't have a job. I said, good luck. Walked out the office, never talked to Andy Pitts again.
So he pencil whipped you.
Oh, yeah.
Now, was he tried, but was he able to basically stop you from getting any residuals now?
Luckily, he catapulted me to forming other relationships. And, you know, for those of you that are good at your sales job, the relationships with you, if you're doing your job right, not with the organization that you work for.
That's what I try to tell people.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships. Because if you got screwed like you did, you just freaking make a phone call and now they're with you at the next place.
Yeah. Fortunately, I migrated them, sold the portfolio for a really high evaluation, and that bankrolled my next project on restaurant software.
So you just keep rolling you just keep hitting the winners.
It was a great no.
So did it bankrupt the guy or no?
No. He was good.
Does he still remember you?
Oh, I'm sure.
I wonder if he realizes that he should have not been so greedy.
You know, I think there's a set of events that happens in your life when you're greedy, like people dropping off around you that hold you up and bring you to a higher standard, like your partner, your wife, your secretary, your front desk girl, and they all left. I think that's a testament to life lessons.
Yeah. I mean, again, like if I were in that position, I would have said, hey, good job, brother. Why don't you come into the business with me with a little piece of that 80? Meaning I'm going to try to get 40 from you, but like now you're my partner. So I can get a hold of that 40 for free because now you're my partner. But I wouldn't have just dicked you. That's like if Deb went out and got a freaking account that, you know, paid $1 billion and I'm like, I'm going to give you, 1%. It's like, no, dude, the car business is where I kind of grew up. They would do the same thing. I'd go take over a dealership. Let's say they were doing, $400,000 net a month, and they'd pay me on the revenue of the store, the profit. So I'd go in there and bring it to 1.2. Well, when I walked in there, it was worth 15%. Well, not at $1 million. It wasn't. At $1 million, it was only worth like freaking 6.5%.
See ya.
Well, that's what I would do. And so, but that's why it's called pencil whipping. Dealerships would basically say, I can get another GM in here to operate at, 50 G's a month. So when you start making 150 G's a month, they're like, let's bring your pay down to where they want you to make around 50 G's. Well, it's like, as soon as I'd leave the store, guess what their revenue did?
Yeah, of course.
Because what I was doing at the store is why it was doing 1.2 from 400. And I'd leave and it'd sink back down and they'd always call back too.
What were you doing?
Running car. What do you mean? Like to make that happen?
Yeah.
Just basic fundamentals, training, getting people into programs where they actually became better. Number one. Number two, I would talk to all the customers. If you were letting a customer leave, I'd say, let me say goodbye. And when I say goodbye, I'd be like, where are you going, dude? So like most GMs and GSMs, they're not talking to every customer. I was just doing the basic fundamentals of, sales. I was calling customers. Why didn't you buy? What happened? Bumping trades, inventory techniques to where like, a lot of people you drive by and they just have a bunch of Honda Accords down the row. Well, like put some wheels on one, tint one, like make them tricked out already and put those on the corners. And then people roll in for the tricked out ones, end up leaving in one of the plain ones. But if you just had all plain ones, we call that merchandising, just normal shit.
Go help out Jeep. They're struggling right now.
Well, again, I mean, sometimes it's the product.
Yeah.
But you seem to keep winning. Someone got greedy. You said pound sand, and you just walked away from 80% of that account, or you walked away knowing you could take it to your next place?
Walked away hoping I could take it. I knew the relationship was, they were doing business with Carl, not with the business.
So you took it and started what?
I took it, I onboarded it to electronic payments and sold the portfolio. That helped me bankroll my restaurant software.
What kind of dough did you get?
92 times evaluation.
What was the evaluation?
High.
How come you want
over $1 million in residuals?
So you got over 90 million? Huh?
We had fun.
Now, how old were you?
27.
Did it get liquid transfer, or was it some sort of weird deal?
It was overtime.
Because a lot of these deals, I got $1 billion, and you look, you got 38 million, you got some shares.
Yeah.
But in reality, you got a big chunk of change. Was that the first chunk of change you ever got?
It was the first real chunk in my face.
Did you ever call the bank account just to hear it again and again?
I honestly tucked it away.
You didn't share it with the world?
No.
See, when I first had over $1 million in my bank account, I'd call people that I used to know, and I'd say, hold on, listen to this. And I'd call, and it would say, you have $2,340,612.88. And they'd be like, Jesus Christ, dude, what the hell? And I was just calling people one after another, listen to this. And I'd listen to it like, dang, dude, I got $2 million. But it was exciting. And I was already, I was like 40. You were 27.
Dangerous.
Did you go blow any of it?
Yeah, I traveled a ton, started flying first class, flew
first class
for 2.5 years.
Yeah, private's first class. First class isn't even first class. It's private's first class. First class is better than coach. That's what they should call it.
Yeah, but you still got to deal with security and everything else.
Yeah.
There's a bomb I want to leave. And for anybody that has a sales job or is looking for one, if you look your boss straight in the face and say, if you got to cut me $1 million check next month because I closed a deal that deserves, how would you feel? If there's any hesitation, there's any ick that you feel from them, quit.
Yeah.
Because that guy ain't never going to pay you. He's going to figure out any way to finagle around giving you what you deserve.
Dude, I would be excited. I'd want to give you 10 million. Like if I could cut you a check for 10 million, because I always have a camera on me, I'd film it, I'd put it out to social media, and there'd be lines of people coming in to get it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what's up? You can do it.
That's why I'm here today.
Yeah. Why?
Because you're the man.
Well,
you're a mirror of me.
Well, you're a mirror of me.
I'll take
you're a 9.0 Brad Lee. Well, dude, I think ethics and integrity, should be common. I wish it was, but it seems like, because again, I get dicked. I could tell you stories about me getting dicked one after another, and people are always like, dude, why don't you be more careful and cautious? And I'm like, listen, I just trust people. I have a saying, you don't change the way you treat people, you change the people you treat. Right? So like, I'm not going to become an old Scroogey, misery, untrustful dick because I got screwed. And I'm sure I'll get screwed again, but that's okay. Because when you screw me, you're not really screwing me. You're screwing yourself. So, and I feel that same way about cheating. I have a wife. Hey, I made a deal. So like, there is no cheating for me. And because I keep saying that online, I think some women want to test that. And it's like, dude, you can send me 50 tens in a row. Like, I'm not saying I won't go home and divorce her and then go marry someone, but that's not cheating. And that probably wouldn't happen either. But you see my point.
Yeah.
I think integrity and ethics is like something that you have to learn. I didn't have it young. You had it young.
Can we go down that path?
Sure.
Okay. What's up with you women that are sliding in my DMs and Brad's DMs. Well, my Facebook Messenger, like I'm committed and I'm out there being committed.
You can see it online.
Buzz off.
Dude, there's girls that look for that.
Well,
Like there's girls that right there is a signal. Like you have a wedding ring on. Oh my God, I got to get that. But again, those aren't really ethical women. Those are just Jezebels.
so are we helping the world by just voicing this right now that is not acceptable across like your moral compass?
And not only that, like I always tell women, like, would you want a guy that cheats on his wife? Like you think you're stealing him from her? Like he ain't worth stealing if he'll do it.
Right.
It makes no sense.
This just happened to me. So I've been hosting a gratitude dinner for 13 years where I get, if I'm in Zimbabwe and I'm on a Monday night, I'm going to find some
Isn't it
homeless
called
man.
Meat Sauce Mondays?
Oh, you found it. Yeah. So it was originally Meat Sauce Monday. We were broke college kids, my roommates and I. We'd go to Walmart, buy ground chuck, cheap ass pasta, and the frozen garlic bread, which was like the best. Texas toast, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And yeah, I'd feed my roommates, and Jordan would make the sauce, and I'd recruit the people. And the third time we were doing it, Meat Sauce Monday, I just asked, what are you grateful for? And it was an opportunity to watch a grown man cry for the first time, just in sheer gratitude. And now I've been doing it for 13 years. I have a community in Florida of 70 people that get together every single Monday, rain or shine, and bring food together, smile, and talk about, different topics, not always gratitude. And you get to really go deep with someone when you see the same 60, 70 people every week and get asked the most uncomfortable questions where they're all paying attention to you.
The whole group? How do you get around the table?
We have a huge table, 30-second timer, and a microphone. And it's an hour long.
And so they just say what they're grateful for?
Well, we ask, like, how does faith show up in your life today?
So it's basically a Thanksgiving dinner every Monday.
Every week. And you walk out of there on top of the world with its chosen family. I get to choose who these people. And the fact that telling somebody that they're invited to a vegan gratitude potluck dinner.
Are you vegan?
I was for a while. I eat fish, and I just eat fish now.
I eat vegans.
You eat vegans?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, I eat vegans.
Oh, you eat vegan food?
No, I eat vegans. Like a cow, it's a vegan.
You had me for a second. I'm like, Brad, what am I not uncovering here?
Yeah, a cow's a vegan.
Yeah.
Most
Herbivores.
yeah. Cows, like, I'm not one of those that just go hunt and kill and eat whatever, like an elk. People are like, elk's delicious. It's like, I don't know, dude. When we're out of cows, maybe I'll look for elk, but like, I just like steak, hamburger, turkey, chicken, normal things. No tongue.
No kangaroo?
No organs. No kangaroo.
It's purple meat.
No, thank you. Maybe the turkey legs at Disneyland are kangaroo then, because that meat's not normal.
Those are as GMO as it gets. How is that? Yeah.
It's not a normal turkey leg. It's number one, it's purple. Number two, it's like, no, that's not what that is. I don't know what it is, but I bet you it's not turkey.
It's whatever it is. Nobody finishes it, but they're still hungry after.
Dude, so now Referizer's your company, or I thought you were recruited by Referizer.
I was recruited by the founder.
So what was Referizer?
Yeah,
texting?
Referizer was an all-in-one automation platform that handled text and email marketing for mainly franchise businesses.
Okay, so then did you end up getting in on that deal, or?
Yeah, so I did that in 2016, started selling it, got posed by my 3 top clients about credit card processing, did that gig for 11 months.
So did you quit Referizer, or were you doing both?
I quit. I brought it, actually, I say I quit because I quit as a full-time, but I integrated it to the payment processing team so that those people could resell Referizer as a value add to get in for processing. So we had 1,200 agents around the country through MLS reselling our Referizer's platform. And then I left to create Grubber, the restaurant software. And
Grubber was the kiosk?
Yep. Kiosk, mobile app, web app. We dabbled in point of sale, fell on our face because that's a huge change for a restaurateur to switch their POS. It's called a POS for a reason.
And usually they are POSs.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why you should call Real Merchant Services and we'll get you dialed in with brand new POS systems. And by the way, nowadays, dude, they're easier than shit.
Yeah.
Like you don't need those big ass freaking, multi-tenant platforms. You need something to take that damn payment.
Yeah. I would just encourage, if you're switching point of sale providers, to go on YouTube and find out how easy it is to rob the point of sale, because you have cashiers going on YouTube saying, how do I rob Square? How do I rob Clover? How do I rob Toast? And once they learn that, they'll just keep pummeling through restaurants.
How do you rob them?
Well, either you're knowing how much an item is. If somebody pays with cash, you clear it out of the POS and then you put the cash on the side of the drawer. You keep a tally next to the drawer. And when you're counting it out at the end of the night, I'll tell you what, owning a restaurant software, I never had to think like a thief until then. And I saw, we ended up putting cameras on top of the point of sales and could track button movement and what went into the drawer. And that's how we ended up stopping it. But, yeah, if you're looking at a new POS, is just figure out how easy it is to rob, because I would stay far away.
Is there a lot of theft in the restaurant business?
Who's your average person working in a restaurant?
16 to 25-year-old.
And what are they working for?
Tips.
They're working to make as much money as possible. So
clearly not, or they wouldn't be at a restaurant.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. To them, that's what they've been raised.
I know, but folks, if you guys are out there in the world trying to make as much money as possible, it ain't at a restaurant.
No.
Unless, of course, you're unethical and you can steal. Because, I worked at a restaurant, but I wasn't unethical. But I was the most successful waiter they had. And they would always want us to sell desserts. For some reason, the desserts were more profitable, I guess. And, it's just an upsell. So everybody was always wondering, what the hell was I doing? Right. And I'm like, I wouldn't tell them because I like to be in the best and I like being praised. And, I crushed everybody. I literally caused this restaurant to increase its to-go containers by like 4 times.
Heck yeah.
The managers and the GM and the owner was always like, dude, what the hell are you saying? And I just never really told them. And then when I was getting ready to quit the restaurant because I was leaving, they go, dude, well, just tell us how you sell so many desserts. And I said, okay. And they're like, listening. And what's funny is when I was doing it, the other waiters would like listen. When I'd go up to the table and I'm clearing the table, they'd be like I could see them just trying to like eavesdrop as to what is it I'm saying. But they were too late. You see, I wasn't saying anything as I was clearing the table. Right? They couldn't figure out what, when, or how I was doing it. And I told them when I was leaving, I walked up to a table once. They were full. And I said, do you want some dessert? And they said, we're full. And then I walked up to another one and I said, ready for dessert? Tried it another way. And they're like, oh, we're stuffed. And after about 2 or 3 tables, they'd tell me they're stuffed. And I'm a pretty good sales guy in the first place. And like, hey, these are handmade, great stuffed. Well, the 4th one, I walked up and I took their food order and I said, and by the way, all of our desserts are hand prepared and they don't last. So if you want dessert, I would order it now. And they'd go, well, in that case, give me 2 of these and 7 of those. Yep. Well, because they were hungry. That's the difference is I asked when they were hungry and everybody else was asking when they were full. And when I'd bring them, the dinner was over, I'd be clearing their table. They're like, can you put those in a to-go container? We're full. No problem. But I was closing them in the beginning and everyone else was asking at the end. And that's the only difference. So again, if you guys own a restaurant, I bet you money if you tell all your waiters right now, start asking for dessert with the food order you guys will sell 10 times more desserts than you do waiting. And now that you eat at a restaurant, you'll notice they'll come up afterwards. They'll even say, did you save room? It's like, why would you wait until I'm full, you dumbass? But anyway, so I was clever in ways. I just wasn't as clever as you because I didn't ever sell a company for millions and millions yet. Now, I do have several that are exitable, and I'm sure if I press the eject button right now, I'd have some decent exits, and collectively, because there's so many, it'd calculate up to a nice little chunk, but I'm also unimpressed with where they are versus where they could be. Because I mean, this company could be $1 billion. Now, someone said, well, how do you get there? Well, I mean, I could raise money and just blow it and get there. But in reality, it's because I failed to build a team. Yeah. The proper team along the way, which is I'm doing right now. So now I'm starting to bring in, develop a team. Did you have a team in all these, or were these all just like you?
Yeah, I have a team. I have a couple of people that have followed with me from organization to organization. They're my core players. And I think something that everyone needs to hear, if you don't already do it, is slow to hire, quick to fire. Give somebody one task on probation when they're already smelling like it stinks and I need to get them out, and make it really clear. Hey, this is your KPIs. If you don't hit these, I don't need to tell you don't have a job anymore. You've dug your own grave.
Or, we can't use you. Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of the leadership I meet don't understand, and I didn't either, which is the KPIs.
Yeah.
Because I'd always take it personally. Like if I had to fire old Deb, I'd be like, I like Deb, man. She's nice. She's always here. She's trying. Give her one more month and then one more month. And that seems like, 2 years ago, we should have got rid of her.
You're doing both you a disfavor.
Yeah, that's right. And then not only that, but like it always ends. I've never had one of those work out. And it's always to the point where I wish I had done it when I first thought of it.
Yeah.
It never works out. And I started to realize, because I always used to think, man, I care too much about people. Well, in reality, I don't care enough about the other people that are carrying the weight.
Yeah.
So I just shifted my perspective, and now it's fairly easy because, number one, I'm not doing them a service. I'm not doing us a service. I'm not doing anyone on the team that's doing it a service. And so now I do this thing called nothing personal. And the reason why I can say it's nothing personal is because that was my problem. Letting people go, dude. I took it personally. So I walk up and I say, look, here's doing good. Here's doing bad. Here's doing good. Here's doing bad. You understand? They go, yeah. I go, great. So if you do good, you're good. If you do bad, we can't use you. And they're like, well, obviously, great.
Let's now have that conversation.
Now it's nothing personal. Right. So when something happens, I walk up, I go, bro, you're doing bad. They're like, I know. It says, and then I go, well, dude, you got to get that fixed. What's the plan? I'll change it. Okay, good. Well, we'll revisit in 2 weeks. And obviously, if it's not going well, dude, we can't use you. It's nothing personal. And now it gives me the ability just to blow people out based on their KPIs.
I think there's two things that I've been doing recently that I want to share. One is just always asking. I have, with my core team on Thursdays, I have 15 minutes blocked for every single one of them. There's 14 people. And it's just an opportunity for them to voice how I can support them. The things that I learned just by asking that one question in those 15 minutes, I learn about gossip. I learn about things that are going on in the company that I wasn't aware of. And I truthfully learn how I can empower my employees to do better. So just asking that question, how can I support you? And then the next thing that I did for company morale, and you start to see who the weaker links are without me having to say anything as the CEO. At the end of we run the entrepreneurial operating system.
EOS.
What the heck is EOS? Yep. And when we're doing our level 10 meetings at the end of the meeting, I ask everyone to pick one person that hasn't already been selected and shout them out for what you're grateful for that they did for you this week. And you just watch everybody come out of this hour and a half draining meeting where right before that question, they're I got a lot of work to do I feel great because I was celebrated by Kevin. I was celebrated by Courtney. I was celebrated by my team, and they actually see me doing the things that probably I didn't think got we're seen. And to date, there has not been somebody in our organization that went last, they were the last person that after 2 weeks was still in the company. They pushed themselves out. Because if everybody in the organization knows that you're a superstar and they can tell you why, and then there's that one person that nobody can say anything about, I don't need to be the person to tell you you're not following the good rules.
Yeah, or go down a list of your people and just ask if you could get 2 more just like them, would you? And if the answer is no,
okay,
there's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, if I can get 2 more of these, would I do it? Nah, not really. Oh, what are you playing? Because listen, man, if you want a team of stallions, you have to get rid of the turkeys. Because I ask people, you ever see the stallions in the movie running across the plain? You ever see that majestic where they're all, cruising across with their hair and it's slow motion? They're just all running. And then I always say, do you ever see the turkeys running in between their feet? And they're like, no. And I'm like, that's because stallions don't run with turkeys. So if you bring a bunch of turkeys in and you're letting them mix with the stallions, dude, the stallions won't run with turkeys. If you protect your turkeys, your stallions are going to leave. And then you're wondering why you can't get a team of stallions. Because number one, you're not a stallion. And number two, you're tolerating turkeys. So even if you get a couple stallions attracted, they're not staying. And I had to learn that the hard way.
Yep.
And notice I said, you're not a stallion. Dude, there's been times where, dude, I'm the boss. I don't have to do this shit. I wasn't a leader. I was a boss. There's a difference there too.
Yeah.
But dude, we could put together a freaking class, I'm sure. You now teach people some stuff. It's not like you sell courses or anything, but you should. And you should do it on just, almost innovative ways to market, really. Mm-hmm. I see you as marketing because like you thought, hey, let me get this and let me go to this and get multiple at a time. Thinking smarter, working smarter. Where do you think you get that from? It's just natural?
I think I get it from burning money. At one point in my career, I was burning tens of millions of dollars a month, just growing a software company that we were making money on month 9 and praying that they stayed till month 10 or 11. And now we have an organization that is 11 months in. We're doing over 10 million in monthly recurring revenue, and we have a staff of 14 people. So I think just getting lean and really automating processes, because you don't need a human to do most things. We're in 2025. AI agents are fantastic. We were just talking yesterday how people run Facebook ads and they have an expert that deemed themselves an expert 12 years ago. The platform's changed 6,000 times since then. We have AI agents that will analyze the whole thing based on all the best practices from Facebook directly. Can't get better than from the platform. And yeah, I think, just really getting lean and not being people heavy.
What about taking care of your customer?
Yeah, so that's my biggest challenge right now. We're in hypergrowth and we've really structured RapidTalk to be an implementation company. Nobody really knows who they can turn to help with AI. Everyone and their mother is learning AI and deems themselves an AI expert. We've deployed over 1,500 AI agents, paid the idiot tax on probably the first 1,490 of them, just learning how people interact with these bots. You make a bot for a tire shop and all of a sudden your third customer calling is asking for dating advice because they hear an attractive could-be woman on the phone and this is their opportunity to talk. So yeah, I think it's just learning and trying to be as customer-centric as possible all the time, because that's what's going to differentiate your brand from any other brand, is how you treat your end user.
Yeah. What about who is your customer? Is your customer the end user or the business with the end user?
Our customer is the business. So if you have a business that you have somebody that's not answering the phone after hours or isn't answering the phone during the hours or is too busy to talk to people, that's when you go to RapidTalk and we automate that piece for you.
Yeah. RapidTalk.ai, folks. Tell them the bomb squad sent you. How about because AI is rapidly evolving.
Yeah.
So like, what can the AI do at Rapid Talk?
Yeah. So
what are some of the things business owners could use it for?
if you train an employee to do it, you should be training an agent to do it. If there's repeatable processes that you have, especially if you're in a call center, I don't know how much our audience knows about call centers, but call center employees actually love their job typically when they're solving problems for people. So if that agent goes home that day and says, "Hey, honey, how was work today? It was great. I solved 8 problems that I haven't had a chance to do before." It's a big difference than I talked to 80 people about the same thing over and over again. That person's going to leave your job in 3 days. If you're lucky, you got them that long. So I think us as humans, we're always wanting to help people and solve people's problems, but it gets old when we're doing the same thing over and over again. So leveraging a tool like Rapid Talk or any AI tool out there to stop the redundancies in your life and automate them, because that will enable you to spend your precious time with the customers that you actually want to spend it with, and not your low-hanging fruit that are asking the same question over and over.
So, but you're not looking for every company in the world. You're not looking for a startup that gets 10 calls a day. You're looking for like people that get thousands of calls a day.
So we acquired and merged with a company called Scipio a couple months ago. I'll drop that bomb here for the first time. It's not public notice. There we go. Scipio has an active user basis of 3,000 customers that are all small to mid-size people. And I want to define small to mid-size in my world. It's somebody that would balk at the idea of spending $5,000 to make more money. Whereas enterprise deals, I'd show them $5,000 as a setup fee, and they're like, "That's it?"
They think it's a scam.
Or no, they think it's cheap at the enterprise side.
Like
small
has to be a
mid-size
scam.
is like, "You're scamming me." And
the funny thing about that is, that's why a lot of people like to deal with the higher end clients, because like, the higher end client wires you $50,000 and says wire sent, and the lower end client says, "Now what do I get again for $5,000?
Yeah.
Can you explain it again and put it in writing, please?
Give me a guarantee that even you can't, that nobody would say okay to." So the reason I say that is we have a product, a software as a service product, where you can go on our website and sign up for $500, no setup fee, and it'll answer your after hours calls. It'll answer your before.
How does it like know your phone number? Yeah. Does it issue you a phone number to give out?
Issues you a phone number, and we wrap the number that you have advertised so that after 20 seconds, when you don't answer, we pick up.
But you don't have to change all your public numbers. They still call your main phone lines.
Yeah. Any company that's going to force you to change your number really has you by the nuts. And I would not ever engage with a company that forces you to use their number, because what happens when you want to leave them? You can't.
Especially if they own that number.
Yeah.
And obviously, what about analytics and tracking? Can you tell them, who was calling and how many calls? And
yeah, so we have our own homegrown CRM. So if they want to, especially your smaller businesses of the world, we support Mary Kay Cosmetics. We support your nail salon down the street and your mechanic. They either have a system that they love and we integrate to it, or they're miserable and they want an all-in-one solution. And that's what we have.
Is it all inbound, or do you do outbound?
So we do outbound as long as you have proper opt-ins. So I know that hits home, and we really need to secure that a customer is okay with you reaching out to them through automated messaging or calls.
But inbound all day long.
All day long.
So again, Lightspeed VT. We don't get very many clients calling in for tech support, but could I just say, "Hey, let's train the AI for this tech support," when they call in, someone goes, "Hello." Now, is AI mandated to identify themselves as AI?
I think that's an interesting question.
Can you teach them to lie?
Going back to the integrity piece, I'm sure there's providers out there that would be okay with that. And we're not trying to mask the fact that we're an AI. We're trying
but in the future, when it gets like, 1-800, talk to a lady.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to sit there and get stupid with a robot. But if the AI is like, "Are you AI?" and it goes, "No, I'm a human." Like, I wonder if it's programmed, because every time I say, are you AI, they've never said no. And I'm wondering, like, you think that's like the AI not allowed to lie?
I think it brings up a bigger topic of what do you, me, and the rest of the world do, knowing that that is right in front of us, that there are going to be conversations that we have and we don't know what's real and what's not. And, you know, you drilled into me yesterday, Carl, how do you not have a personal brand right now? And I think that that really is where everyone that's listening should be focused on, is how do I show people that Bradley, Carl, Case, whoever it may be, is a real person with real knowledge that I can trust. And now is your time to build that trust factor. Because in 2 years from now, even 6 months from now, it'll be incredibly difficult to know what's real and what's not.
That's why they should buy my real personal branding course. No, just joking.
For real.
Well, I do show people how to do it, but I don't have a course yet. You should have a course on a bunch of things. You don't have any courses. You don't do anything. You just mentor people for free.
And I have employees that empower me to do more.
Are you, if everything crashed right now, you got enough money put away to never work again the rest of your life?
And still support a bunch of animals.
Do you have people coming out of the woodwork from your past and family saying, give me some money?
I'm sure after this podcast, even more.
And then do you ever find that, like, if you don't give it to them, you're an asshole?
I think a lot of those people shed their weight in 2016 when I first started to be successful monetarily wise. I still think about those people all the time. And I'm saddened by the fact that they're not in my life because of silly, untangible to me things.
Why don't you just give them the money then?
Oh, well, I live a different life now than I did yesterday, let alone 6 or 7 years ago.
What kind of life do you live now?
I turn my phone off every night at 9 o'clock on airplane mode. I unplug my Wi-Fi. I sit in front of my biocharger and I completely turn off and decompress and have
biocharger.
That's how I got introduced to you, is through our mutual friend, Deborah, and she had a biocharger. It's a Tony Robbins product. For 4 years, I went to Unleash the Power Within and they're telling me, buy this machine for $17,000. You'll get more energy.
Does it
better.
work?
Oh my God. I've probably helped sell a lot of them.
Well, that's because, dude, that's a problem.
Turning off your phone
and unplugging your Wi-Fi
is the ultimate way for me to say I made it. Because I told everyone that I love, if you really need me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm useless without my sleep. Call 911 because I'm not the first call that you should be making. And I sleep with peace knowing that I've done the best that I could that day. And whatever's going to come to me tomorrow, I hope it's unexpected because I love the challenges. But bring it on. Like,
well, dude, what happened when we didn't have cell phones?
I wasn't born.
Like, I remember driving. I was.
I know.
I remember driving around where dude, there was nothing to get a hold of you. Period. If they're gone, they're gone. And when you wait till they resurface, and then the beepers came out. They called them beepers.
I have a beeper.
You know, and I was thinking, you know how stuff comes back? It's almost like, you know, beepers, they weren't wireless. I mean, they weren't cellular. Like a beeper, maybe
They're
you just
back.
Yeah, I think they should, because again, it's like, you know, and then when you text someone, they go, oh, I didn't get it, you know. But now with the phone, dude, if I text you and you don't text me back, that son of a bitch. Right. Why? Well, because, dude, you don't leave your phone, you know.
I set my buddy up, Kevin, my head of operations. He's going on a super blind date on Saturday. That to me is as old school as it gets. They don't know each other's names. They can't precursor, oh, I like him because of what he posts or what his pictures or if he's smiling. And I think that we're about to see a huge revolution of going back to the basics. My phone has a mode where I can put everything in black and white. It dummies it down to only showing messages, email, phone. That's it. And I think that, you know, from here, it's just about peace. How do you create peace in your life without all these silly distractions and just stuff in the way?
And people should probably do that even if they don't have millions in the bank. See, everybody, including me, is waiting for this someday that we get to do that. When in reality, dude, you can do it now if you wanted to.
You should.
Well, I mean,
I
don't, because if someone needs me, I want to be available. So you need me at 2 a.m., call my phone, bro. I'll answer.
Okay.
But I'm also sleeping just fine. Like, I don't stay awake wondering if someone's going to call. And by the way, like, you know, I like to be available. Now, I also might have a little YOLO or FOMO. I feel like, dude, if I don't have that phone on, dude, you could call and say, Brad, I just had an idea. Now, you might call at 9:30 at night. And what if I didn't answer? And next day you didn't call because you didn't care. It was a passing moment.
Leave me a damn voice note if it's that good. Leave me a voice note. I'll also say that I'm pretty intuitive. The one time that someone actually needed me, my dear friend David, 2 a.m., he had his truck got repoed because he didn't pay the bill. He didn't know. The tow truck driver didn't say anything. So he's following the tow truck driver in his other car, and he beats the living daylights out of this guy just for doing his job. But the guy did not say once, like, I'm repoing. He just said, I'm taking your car. And he calls me, and I just woke up at 2 a.m. like somebody needs me. And I turned on my phone. I kid you not, in 3.5 years, this is the only time that I felt it. And I turned on my phone, and he's calling me right then. I said, what's up? And he goes, brother, I need you. And I was there for him, but
why don't you just buy him a new truck?
David's taken care of now, but
that's what I was wondering. Cause like, I know when I liquidate, I mean, they're doing it now and I'm not even liquidated, but I think everyone's going to come out of the woodwork. So I'm wondering, like, does that happen?
It happens. And I think that you're just the moment that you give somebody money, that all of their dreams faded because it just became too easy.
See, I disagree with that. You might be right. I feel like if you just gave me 25 million extra that I can go put to work, you just made my dreams come true.
But I'd be investing in you, not giving you something.
Well, I mean,
purpose and
yeah, but like there's people out there that like really just need money. That's how you can help them. Give them some money.
For what?
To solve a problem that they have.
How did they get to that problem?
Well, that's a bigger problem.
So how do we sit down and instead of...
I know, but sometimes advice is nice, but cash...
So give them a little bump.
I'm talking about, like, you know, someone comes to you, their kid can't afford a surgery, you know, talking about, well, why are you in a position where you can't pay your kid's surgery? You know, let me give you some advice, but I'm not going to give you any money. I want to be able to go here, get your kid taken care of. I understand the situation you're in. And I wish I had someone that had that kind of money, but I need to have like that kind of money because again,
No,
well, I mean, I don't, but I'm talking about just to mentally get to a point where I'll give it to you. Like, I'm not going to give so much that I'm broke.
There's the difference between you and I.
What? You'll give till you're broke?
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
Not yet.
Okay, there's a difference between you and I.
Three-legged dog.
Yeah, but I got responsibilities that I'm responsible for, dude, and I'm not going to go down because again, and especially for someone that wouldn't go down for me, which is most people. So again, fortunately I give, but I've never gotten to the point where I'm not going there. I've made decisions like for investments, like, ooh, that's too big for me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just want to hit $1 billion evaluation, whether it's one or collectively, because I think if you put $1 billion away, you could literally play with 100 or 2. And I don't see how that's going to be the most fun thing ever.
So let's talk about how you get to $1 billion evaluation.
Okay.
Attrition. Nobody wants to buy your company for $1 billion when you're replacing customers left and right. When you can create a recurring revenue stream where you're not replacing those customers, hopefully for life, you could get a crazy evaluation. That's the biggest tip I could give anybody is focus on attrition and focus on how do I sell this company from the day that I create it.
And reoccurring revenue helps.
Easiest way. but really aligning your goals on how do I sell this thing from the moment that I started. My staff right now all knows in 2 years, they're going to look for another job because I'm going to sell this company in 2 years.
Why don't they just stay with who buys it?
They could do that. Hopefully.
Does your core know they're going with you to the next one?
Well, the core knows that I'm an ESOP so that they own a piece of my business. And when I win, they win.
What happens? When are you going to be done?
I think this might be my last hurrah. I don't know that there's going to be another opportunity in life to embed technology in a business that they don't already have, haven't already been burned by, or literally don't know where to turn to get it. Right now, selling AI to the right person, the right way, is very simple because they don't know where to turn to, they don't know where to start, and they don't know who they can trust. So if you're that business that can do that, I don't know when else me as a sales guy has ever been gifted an opportunity to sell to a business, sell to restaurants when they had cashiers going up to $15 an hour from $4 and they go, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I got a screen that doesn't bitch and moan. It costs less than $1 an hour and it upsells 30%. How can you say no to me? You can't.
Yeah, but sometimes people want human beings to deliver food.
They can't afford it.
Not to cash out.
Yeah.
You still have a big e-commerce biz or no?
No.
Because all that software, you have to embed a gateway in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Why don't you just use real merchant services? Yeah. If you ain't in it no more, just give me all that biz. We'll just link it up on the back end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the event that you were here for, is it over now?
Ends tonight, call center week.
Is it, do you throw parties to get people in it or do you have any?
We advertise in the bathrooms.
Yeah. That's a good place too. And I love your campaigns.
Everyone's got to go to the bathroom. That's my best trade show secret. First of all, if you're staff in a trade show booth and your staff is on their phone even for 5 minutes, that is not your person. And if they're not there an hour before the show ends or opens and an hour after it ends, that's when I walk the floor. You want to talk to me? I was there this morning taking pictures of every person's booth. Oh my God, everybody's selling AI. Everybody. And you ask them what are they selling and their pitch is 20 minutes long. Listen, I'm selling agents that can answer the phone, answer your text messages, and answer your web chats just as good as your best human on their best day. Simple.
What about the people that say, well, it's the phone calls I'm missing?
Yeah, we're going to answer them.
No, I know, but like, that's what I need. Phone calls. How can you help me with AI?
Yeah, so we have a new product that has 300 AI agents and it audits your ads and gives you the best way to launch an ad ever. So it'll look at all your historical data. It'll say, based on this and the markets that you're in, we suggest X.
Well, dude, you're not far away. I want to make you what we call a regular because we don't even have to talk biz. We just talk stories. Are you running around? When you said you're traveling, are you going to like, Nepal and crazy places?
Yeah. The farthest I've been to date, I want to say is Israel and Estonia.
Estonia.
I was in Estonia at Mind Valley University last July.
Do you know what the Estonian flag looks like?
Blue and white?
Well, let's see.
For real? You're Estonian?
No. I've been Estonian. I was Estonian all the way through school. Oh, that's funny.
Explain that one.
Later.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's blue and white, though.
That's an Estonian flag. But anyway,
Wild. Look at that.
Side note. But I'll make you a regular because we can just shoot the shit. Doesn't always have to be about business. What's the biggest check you ever wrote?
I think $32 million to Amazon Web Services.
Damn.
That hurt. Because we got it free for the first year because we were a startup. And then all of a sudden the bill turned on and it was like, what? Who else can give us this free for a year?
You thought you were making all that net and pretty soon it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it wasn't just AWS either that we were free for a year.
If anybody's interested in obviously RapidTalk.ai for their business, reach out to RapidTalk.ai. But what if someone's interested in figuring out how to go sell AI?
Yeah. Drop me a note on LinkedIn. I'll give you whatever's present to me, books that I'm reading that are really valuable. I think Alex Hormozi is a great tool for how to sell in the space. His book, $100 Million Leads, I'm a big fan of. Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand. If you don't even know what you're selling and you can't say it in a sentence, you better be reading that book now. And I think just figuring out who your truth is. Like, who's that person that you believe in and you like the things that they've done because you see successes on your own? Let that be your guru.
Folks, you better go follow this dude. I would normally give you his Instagram, but he doesn't have one. So just look him up. Carl Case, just like it sounds. Case. Dude's just barely 32. Already freaking exited a couple of deals, over $1 billion in exits, just starting to swing the bat. Can't wait to see. You could be the next Elon motherfucking Musk.
I prefer being the current Carl Case.
I know, but dude, right now, Elon Musk at some point was like, yes, I'm starting this thing called PayPal. At some point he wasn't who he is today.
Yeah.
But now he's like freaking Elon Musk, dude. Carl Case, that's even a good name. Is that your real name?
It's my real name.
Carl Case.
100th in vitro baby in the state of Florida.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
You could make a case for that.
I'll be naming my first kid Justin, my second kid Brief, and my mother is Bess, or Best Case.
Best Case. I can't add to that. We'll end it there. Folks, go follow this dude. Reach out to RapidTalk.ai if you're in business and you want someone to answer phones. If you're a call center, DM me the word call center or just call direct. The only reason I say DM me is because I want to see how much influence that I actually have with you listeners. But no, call direct, RapidTalk.ai. Go get yourself some. Till next time, keep it real.
See you, Bomb Squad.